Yo, what's going on? If you guys can't tell right here, I've got a fly that I've been tying up like crazy. Got a box full of them. This is the Chubby Chernobyl. Today we're going to be tying it up, or I'm going to show you how to tie it up. It's a great dry fly. It's a great indicator fly for using nymphs underneath. And it just overall is a fun thing to tie and use. You can also tie it in different patterns, such as these ones down here. So it makes for a great time when you're fishing, especially when you're able to create something that you tie it at home. So let's get right to the video. Let's go. Start out, we're going to use a dry fly TMC 5212 in a size 10. We use some tan 8/0 thread. Let's get a nice base layer. Once you've built up a nice body, I'm going to take some of this polar flash. It says it's a wing, tail, and ribbing material. It's in a green pearl color. This is just what I've got at the moment. And I'll just take a couple of these, like such, these loose hanging ones. I'll trim those off quite a bit, maybe 3 or 4 inches, probably about 3 inches. Fold it in half. So now instead of 2, we've got 4. And you want to try and do your best to hold it. You want to give it a loose wrap. That way you can adjust it once you like the way it lays. Give it a couple more wraps. If you don't lay it on top flat and get a nice wrap down, sometimes it gets kind of messy. But it's okay, we're going to cover it up. Work towards the front. This is where we're going to take some sparkle dub. I use this color seal. It's like a light tan. Here we want to build up a nice noodle. Get a nice noodle. It really doesn't have to look all that great. In fact, I like to make it a little more poofy. That looks really messy, but it's okay. A little bit goes a long way, which is true. But in this instance, I say that the dubbing helps with the foam. So that's where we're going to take some foam. For my case, I've taken some 2mm tan foam, folded it in half, and I've cut it roughly about the length of the hook, the width of the hook shank, maybe a little bit bigger, which is okay. And I've folded it over, super glued it, and what I'm going to do here is take a little bit of super glue, just right over my last set of wraps, just some Gorilla super glue, and get my foam, place it however you want. I usually put it about in the middle. Give it a nice couple of wraps, maybe one. And then I work back, actually, I don't know if you saw that. I work backwards, then work thread wraps in the middle, creating a tie-in point for what's going to be our wings, which is some poly floating yarn. As you can see, it's like braided. What I actually use is a little brush like such to brush it out and make it nice and puffy, which I'll do now. As you can see here, I've got my yarn all combed out, brushed out, and now we're going to take it, place it right over the top of our foam. I'm going to use these fingers to hold the yarn from moving. And you can see here, I can adjust it still, pull it slightly. It's because I only gave it one loose wrap. And now I'll create this bulb. Take another wrap over the bulb. Right, now you can see we have a little section where it's bulbed up. And I like how that looks, so I'm going to give it another wrap or two. Now this is the part where I talked about you can kind of change it up. So as you can see here, I've got this bag of from Amazon of what is micro silicone legs, 12 colors, and then inside, as you might have just read, there's 12 different colors of these legs. So these are pretty small, as you could read. It says it's a size small. So with that being said, what I like to do is I'll take 2 of the strips of these legs, take 2 strips, and I'll cut 2 strips down like that. So I have 2. I'll hold it like such, holding it with my thumb, give it a loose wrap, let yourself position it, right? Maybe a little more. Then this is where you lay it over the top. Just simply laying it down. I'm going to try and rotate it so you can see it on camera. I actually don't like to cut it yet. A lot of people might. I actually like to continue forward. So, where's my dubbing? Take this dubbing again. Just a little bit more of dubbing. And we want to just put it in between our legs, and then we're going to wrap it up the body just a little bit more to our next tie-in point. Don't really need a lot of dubbing, just a little bit. And fold the foam back, put it a little bit, yeah, do it like that. Let me just take that off. So this is why I said the dubbing doesn't really matter earlier, because I still have a lot there. So with that being said, I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to tie in another set of wings and another set of legs, and then I'll come back and I'll show you the last step. And as you can see, this is the finished product before trimming. I just completed the whip finish. As you can see, the foam is obviously a lot sticking out a lot further than it needs to be of the hook eye. The rear wings and all the tails, they all, the legs, they all need to be trimmed still. So just keep in mind that it might not look the best right now, but once we trim this all up, which, like I said before, you can do a lot of the trimming throughout the process, but in my opinion, I like to just do it all and complete the fly and allow yourself to come back at the end and say, hey, you know what, let me take the time to clean it up once you're all done. Because if you're trying to clean up in the middle and then you accidentally cut too much off the legs or the wings, you can't really go back. So in my opinion, I think you just get to this point and then you can see all the proportions of the body and the wings and whatnot. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to trim it up and make it look how I think the Chubby Chernobyl should look. So yeah. So there we go. That is my take on the Chubby Chernobyl. If you guys can't tell, it's got some white legs with a foam body, and in my opinion, I just think this thing looks great. This looks pretty good. You can always use different color legs, and like I said, whatever materials that you want. I've tied this up in a number of other patterns. So like I said, I've tied this up in a bunch of other colors and patterns. This one's a little more sloppy. Actually clean this up a little bit. So like I said, yeah, I tied this up in some other patterns before, and you can give it some different looks depending on what you want to do. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys have stuck around to the end, I appreciate it so much. I've got other tying videos if you guys are interested in tying a midge, which is a simple nymph pattern that is very effective on a lot of tailwaters and for nymphing in general. So if you guys are interested in that, make sure you guys check out that, and I've got plenty of other videos you guys can check out, so stay tuned for the next video. Thank you so much.